Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the first meeting for 2023 on January 4th, 5th, excuse me, 5th, 2023, of the Dayton Commission on Disability. The time is now
4:36.
4:30. Wow, we're not very far behind, great, 4:36. The first thing we can do, please, is rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Can you just make a quick note that we're live and on Zoom and it's being recorded?
Yep, we are live. Sorry about that. We are on Zoom. It's also being recorded and it'll be up on YouTube. And how long it takes to get on YouTube, but we will be there on YouTube. I don't think we have a disclaimer that we need to read.
No.
Am I correct? Okay. I feel off today too. I think we all feel a little off. But if we could rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. So the first thing we should do is go around the room and introduce the members that we have. We'll start with myself. I'm Jonathan Gale. I'm the ADA coordinator for the town of Dayton and chair of the ADA Commission. Kevin?
Kevin Smith, member.
Nicole Mello, member.
And what I'm gonna do, if nobody objects, is ask somebody to make a motion to go out of order. We have Jen Dishkowski with us, and we have an application from Jen to be a new member of the COD. As we all know, Jen was a member at one time in the past. But in order to have that conversation, because Jen has to be somewhere in a little while, if somebody can make a motion to go out of order so that we can take care of that piece of business.
I will make a motion that we take new business item 5B out of order.
I'll second that.
Any objections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Jonathan is an aye. Great, thank you. So Jen, thank you for being here, by the way. And,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you back. Thank you for wanting to be part of the COD. I will preface anything that you're going to say. We have your application, your resume. Thank you very much for getting it on time. I thought the online system worked great, by the way.
Yeah.
I have to say,
Easy to use.
for me to be able to receive it from Leanne, I hope it was just as easy for you to fill out online. And, you know, you've been on that committee before. You've been a member of the commission before, so we know what you do. We know your background and so forth. But what would you like to share with us?
I guess I will share that I am trying to ease myself back into town service. Took some time off with just different family commitments and stuff that were going on over the last couple of years. And this was the first thing that I thought of because just have a lot of passion and desire to help here wherever I can. Yeah, I don't know, do you have any specific questions for me?
I honestly can say I don't have any specific questions because from the work that you did before when you were a member of the commission, it was outstanding and appreciated enormously by all of us. I think the wealth of understanding you have of budgets, of also grant process and so forth, which is a lot of what we're going to be into over the next couple of months for various things, will prove invaluable, not to mention your insight into adults and kids with disabilities. My personal opinion is it's also enormously invaluable, and your dedication to the whole process is always appreciated. And you know, it means, to me, it means a lot as a person with a disability. Anytime a person wants to become a member or a new member for a variety of reasons, including if they have family members with disabilities and so forth too. So, Kevin, do you have any questions? Any thoughts?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I just wanted, I did get to review your application, and I think last time you were on COD, you were on before me, so I never got to see your application. And I was like, my application when I joined this was like, my wife leaves me at home with my child who has a disability sometimes, and I was like, I guess I didn't try hard enough. Seeing Jen's qualifications. But now, I mean, I myself would be happy to have you back. I know you were great when you were here before, and it's always been a challenge for us just to bring in new members, so happy to have you back.
Nicole, any thoughts?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. So we'll take a vote in just a minute, and assuming this is approved, then what I will do is send a letter to the Board of Selectmen, so that at their next meeting, they would put you on to determine whether or not you're going to be a member or not. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do that if that's what we use. So would anybody like to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept the member application of Jennifer Duskowski to become a member of the Commission on Disability.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Nicole?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Jonathan? Aye. Awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Very
back.
much.
Appreciate it.
I'm expecting, because of the time frame, the next meeting for the Board of Selectmen is next Wednesday, I believe. So I will send this over tomorrow so that they have it and can get it onto the agenda. Assuming that they say that's enough time to get on the agenda and they approve it Wednesday night. If not, the next meeting that they have is 2 weeks later. So in either case, I would expect and hope that everything is done and you would be able to join us for our February
Yeah,
meeting.
either way, it should be prior, so if I'm right.
And the cadence for meetings is,
Is always the first Thursday of every month. We've had to have a few changes a couple times for either, mostly for medical types of things for one of us. Usually it seemed to be a knee or something, a couple, or anything.
No, it was me, because I'm going to sporting.
Oh, yeah, well, Kevin went to a football game too. I don't know why.
there you go.
And it was
He
a,
had a medical note
and
for it.
it was a Buffalo game too, so
Oh, man.
I know, we shouldn't have let him.
So generally is it this time?
Generally, it's at this time, 4:30 on the first Thursday of the month. And generally it is here.
Block it on the
Yes,
calendar, just-
and we try to, hearing the advice that everybody made a long time ago, including you, by the way, which I respected from everyone, we generally limit them to an hour or less. This one is even gonna be less, I think it's just going over a few things. And then we're gonna be getting involved in our budget over the next 2 months and several grants and so forth with the library and some other things as well. So your participation is definitely welcome.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Hopefully all goes well at the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Thank you very much. I mean, if you want to stay around for a little while, you can, if you can't.
Yeah, I will stay around until, I mean, I don't know, I'm stuck here, I don't have a car, so I'll be here.
I could drive you.
That might not end as well.
I
as
got
it
an
was.
email from a friend the other day who works in Tucson, who is totally blind and travels all over the country. And he called an Uber and told me for the first time he got picked up in a driverless Uber.
Oh, wow.
And he thought it was really cool, really scary for him, especially where he can't see.
Yeah.
But he was in the back seat and this was driverless and it took him right to the airport,
Wow.
you know? right?
I called, I was in Phoenix in November and I called for a lift and then it gave me a notification saying that I was being picked up by a deaf or hard of hearing driver. It was great because I was able to sign with him a little bit. It was really, that never happened to me before. I
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah, it was cool.
Small step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I deal with a lot of the opposite. A lot of the work that I have to do with people is Uber or Lyft for people who have guide dogs, and when the driver finds out there's a dog,
Oh,
they
Oh,
cancel very often, or they show up and they see the dog and they take off.
Oh.
And there's a lot of lawsuits going on right now with Uber and Lyft, both because of the ADA Act and what they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
it's unfortunate, but it happens.
I had no idea.
It's pretty prevalent, actually. So should we go back to the agenda?
Yeah, so under old business, item A was elementary and middle school events, activities, and workshops.
So, I put that on there because we had talked about that, I've mentioned it a few times. So, I did speak to the superintendent's office, since we last met, and they're just looking at the dates now, so at the dates that we can come in and do the in-services, they've agreed that we can come in and do, at least one in-service in the middle school, one in the elementary school. I'd like to also do one in the high school.
And that's by the school committee,
That's by the.
or the superintendent.
Superintendent's office, yes. So what I'd like to do now is see if we could potentially, if any of you at this point would be able to do some work with me to just put a little bit of a subcommittee together so that somebody can meet with me with the school department and we can put an agenda together. So that we can set up the actual date and what we're gonna be doing specifically, so that, I mean, I can, if I need to, if it's nobody else is available the day we're doing it, I would do it. but it would be nice if somebody could do it with me, or if at least as a subcommittee with me, one other person, if we could work on putting this together.
When are you looking for that? Is that like this month
No,
or
no,
next
no,
month?
not until after February vacation,
Oh, yeah.
so it won't be until after the school break, so we're looking at the earliest is gonna be that week of the 20-something of February. I think it's gonna actually be the first week in March.
Okay, I would be available for that.
Yeah, I can usually make myself available too, and I don't know if we necessarily need to do a subcommittee, if we could all plan activities together, and then whoever can make it, can make it.
So at our next meeting, I will come with a list of activities that we can actually do and what they would like to have us present,
Okay.
which would be great, and I think that each of us could present something too.
Are we gonna do like 2 different events, is it like one day
No.
or we're gonna just do like an hour or so at DES, an hour or so?
That's
at
what I'm
DES?
hoping.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, it's just to do an hour and then move on,
okay,
because otherwise, I mean, theoretically, we could do a 3-hour if they wanted to let us, but I think that's too much right now.
that's what, well, you gotta think with elementary school kids to their attention, are we talking about?
No, we're
the
talking about staff, it's
Oh,
for staff, not
oh,
for the
I
kids.
guess the attention
This
span.
is for the staff, not for the kids. We are talking about kids, but not until later this year.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
alright, so this is pertaining to
This would be
that.
for adults, to adults, yes, on protocols,
I think
best
I,
practices.
yeah, I had mentioned to you, parent communication is, an area that I'd be happy to come up with and facilitate an activity around.
Okay, so keep that in mind, because I'm assuming if everything goes the way it should, that you will be part of us next meeting. So, yeah, if you want, we could break this up into like 3 different areas, and one should be parent communication and liaison communication. And the other 2 might be different types of protocol, for transportation protocol, for example, or, protocol for interaction between the staff member and the parent or the student, things like that. We have to sort of ferret out what's the most important things to work on if we have about an hour to touch, but I think that that's a really important one. In fact, I know it is. So, yeah. So I will come with a specific list of exactly what they want us to address, and what we really can address for the meeting, so we can plan for next meeting. So thank you for that. And the next item,
Next, we have school street sidewalk.
School Street is finished. I left it on there just so I can report that I've gone back out there. Somebody?
Yeah, I usually.
Yeah, it's Jim. They're putting something on the door, I think, to control it. Kevin's got
So for School Street, School Street project is finished. I did go out and remeasure everything and take the grading readings as well as the dimensions, and everything is all set. It's as set as it's gonna be. There are a couple of intersections, as I indicated before, I'm not happy with, but there's nothing they can do because of the way the water main goes under it. And because it's old and they didn't redo that whole part of the water main. So there are a couple of ramps that angle off a little bit too far, but they redid 3 of them and they moved them out further so that they come to the edge of the corner of the street like this, as opposed to further back before they repaved it. So I'm satisfied with School Street. So I just want to give kudos to Tom and his guys also, and for him reaching out and making sure that they got it right and being willing to redo it. So that one's over, we won't see it again.
So next you have, new library building committee.
So there's 2 grants that we are going to be involved with the library building committee. The first grant, I'm wondering if somebody here would like to work with me and Jocelyn on it. The first grant is gonna be, it's either a $10,000 or a $20,000 grant, because you can only ask for the 2 options. To the, it's a National Library Association. They're awarding 300 grants altogether. And in this case, the focus is going to be probably on the interior of the library and technology, and the types of technology that we would like to have the library have available. So some of it might be used for a ramp to the new stage they're gonna have in there, for kids in the kids area. But the vast majority of this grant is gonna be used probably because it has to be related to disabilities. This is a key factor of the grant. So, for example, we might have 1 or 2 workstations that also have JAWS or the speaking system in the computer. We could use the money for classes on sign language for the community. We can use the money on special classes for seniors with disabilities or programs related to disability for seniors. We can use the money for veterans, things like that. So part of what we have to do is also, it's done on a rubrics, the way it's awarded. And the rubrics are similar to our grant for the state from the Mass Office of Disability. The more things that you tick off from this rubrics, the more points you get. So, for example, we need to put together a letter as part of this to send to different organizations in town, not just town departments. So it might be the Veterans Agent, Council on Aging, each of the schools' libraries, and the librarians, and also the special ed program in the school, and ask each of them to write a separate letter about what types of resources and services they would like at the library, but also specifically how it would benefit their constituency, if you will, and what disability services and resources would mean, for example, to kids from the town. So I'm working with Jocelyn on this, but we have to put together all the parameters for this particular grant. The deadline is the 28th of February. I don't know if any of you have some time to review some of this with me as we go forward. I'm gonna send that.
I have it from once, because I ran into Jocelyn at Town Hall, I think just prior to our last meeting.
Right.
And she had brought it up. I did read through it quickly, but I didn't really give it a ton of thought, but I'm happy to work with it.
I will send it out as we're doing the draft to get input from everybody, because I think it's important for all of us to have input into this. Same thing for you, Nick, even as the town nurse, because I'm sure there are benefits you can see for people with disabilities from the Department of Health too. So the more departments that we have and information we have like that, we literally get points for the more organizations we can invite to the table.
Well, we want to try to divide and conquer on this. I mean,
Sure.
even if all 3 of us work on it, because you're really gonna know what bases we're gonna hit. Like if Nicole can just, like, obviously you have your perspective as a public health nurse, but maybe even speaking with Council on Aging, and then I can contact special ed and the school librarians, just kind of each gather the pieces, and
Yes.
then.
So I'll send you each the specs.
Okay.
Of each of those. I'll send you the rubrics, actually, is what I'll do.
Okay.
So that you'll know exactly what we're looking for in the rubrics, and then I'll put together a draft letter that we might use as an email to send to each of them, all right, to get your opinion. We can go back and forth on an email. Because it's basically gonna say, this is what it is, this is what we need, this is what we want. And again, we can use it for classes. We can use it for equipment. We can use it for, programmatic stuff during the year.
So
Things like that.
this might have evolved, it might be because you've had the opportunity to review the document. But I think last time, in our last meeting, we had talked about, there was a $20,000 grant that we were gonna try to utilize for the exterior ramp. And then there was a much larger grant which was gonna go towards potential, like this sort of stuff we're talking about now. Is that
So,
just based on the guidelines and what's available?
correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct. So the larger grant, which we're looking at, is a $200,000 grant.
Yep.
And that's for capital. And that also is related to disabilities, and you can apply to that every other year. I haven't really touched on that one yet, and I haven't really looked very much at it yet, to be honest. Jocelyn and I haven't gotten together on that. I'm hoping we can get together next week on it and start to look at it. But again, that's gonna be more involved, and it's gonna affect other things, I think, with the library too. Because it's gonna cross other lines as to what the ask would be for that, when the capital has to be done on that for capital work and capital expenses. And that might also augment some of the other things that the library will be asking from other town departments or committees such as CPC.
Mhm.
So that one's gonna be more complex, I think, but I wanted to let you know that that's gonna be part of what we're working on too. And
Is
that's,
there still a need for funding for the exterior ramp?
I'll tell you after I meet with Tom and Jim.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what
it's still like, I mean, I'm not part of that committee, and
Yeah.
say probably doesn't matter much, but it seems to me like, I know Ken had touched on it last time too, about, I think there's like 3 windows on that side, and they didn't wanna change the windows. Probably less expensive to change the windows than to remove the ramp,
It might be, but,
like, I just.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Does that building have AC?
It does in the front area, I think, there's like a front meeting room
Oh.
that does, but it will be all vented. Part of the plans for the whole building call for it to have the HVAC system put in.
Right,
And would the windows be an issue at that point? They should.
well, I think there's still like, just for fresh air and egress too,
Yeah.
there's a couple different things.
Oh.
But what I think is happening right now is the windows crank out,
Yeah,
They do,
so if they're open, they open into the ramp.
into the ramp.
But like,
That's the
just in
problem.
my mind is like, I mean, and granted, building materials aren't cheap, but 3 windows is less expensive than
an entire ramp.
an entire ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, cause the ramp is decent, I mean, it's in fairly good shape.
But are the windows like historical and the
No,
ramp is not?
no,
No,
Oh,
they're
okay.
not. No,
Okay,
they're
so
not.
that's not
No.
even.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so, it may be just a case of redoing windows and then, just making some changes to the ramp, it just needs some shoring up here and there.
Mhm.
But it's actually a solid ramp.
Yeah, like I went and visited like early in the conversation just to get eyes on it and to kind of give a visual explanation to Jonathan. And it was really just like the framing of it was fine, the slope of it was fine, it just could like really use like almost like a facelift. Like,
Yeah, so it just needs like some new board.
some new deck boards
Yeah.
and that was it, and then,
So, Tom had asked me to hold off till after the first of the year.
Yep.
So, because I think he thought there'd be a lot of other weather things and stuff going on. So, I'll meet with him and I'm gonna reach out to him and Jim early in the week. So, we'll see where that's going, but I just wanted to give you the update on that.
sorry. Somebody else emailed me something. Oh,
That's
you
all right, I think I
it.
have it.
Thank you.
Next was, what were we just doing, Larry? 4D set up our new COD ADA webpage.
So, Justina has been sick the last 2 days, otherwise she was gonna forward me what we wanted everything, because we put stuff together, and we wanted it to look like I put on the agenda, and she's been, I don't know if she has the flu or COVID, I'm not sure which.
Oh.
But she has been down the past couple of days, so, I will forward this to you in the meantime to take a look at, to give you an idea what we put together we would like to do. It's more like scripting, and now to explain it officially. But, what we would like to have on and the way we'd like to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll forward it to the two of you. When I can access it, because I couldn't access it yet. So unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Next is 4E supporting our Facebook page, making a blog.
Same thing. For the Facebook page, she created a blog through WordPress. And then what we've decided is that for the blog, we've set it up so that we can introduce topics and put articles in there and general commentary in there. And it'll allow for feedback. We can screen the feedback first so that we can determine what we want to post or not, because we don't want any kind of user for negativity or, inappropriate language or anything like that. So as long as it makes sense to what's up there, we're gonna post anything that people have for responses.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just way out of line and it's just inappropriate language or people, bad mouthing other people, no, we're not gonna do it. And we're gonna be very careful about that so that we can't, I don't want us to have anybody feel like they're being excluded either.
All the fun, that's the whole point of Facebook.
I know. So, but we'll have there'll be like the FAQs up there for it, and the 10 FAQs are like, no foul language, no disparaging comments towards others like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be right there.
I think another thing, when we had talked about it in the either September or December too, and I think we just gotta make sure that it's allowable, but to create traffic on the page
Yeah.
was using Facebook Live, because like now that we figured out, I figured out how to get Zoom up in the building.
Yeah.
Like we can always utilize my computer to go Facebook Live just to get, I feel like we'd get more interaction.
Mhm.
Like,
I feel like it too.
Unless somebody is like ingrained in, town stuff, like they're not going on the Zoom unless like they
You know
need
what,
to
let me,
be at that
let
meeting.
me reach out to Mike and see if we can.
Yeah.
Fair point, I will actually send him an email, I know he's technically not in tomorrow, but I'll send him an email and ask him if we're allowed to use Facebook Live.
Because I think if we're on, technically too, if we're on Zoom and we do get interaction through
That's
Facebook
what I was
Live,
just thinking
if,
about.
if they're talking, or even if it's through like the chat portion of it, as long as we talk, say, oh, so-and-so asked or made the comment,
Yeah.
then it's still gonna be recorded as public input, I don't think.
Is that gonna be too much for you to keep track of though while we're doing meetings? I don't know.
I can't even remember to bring the keys to the building.
Yeah, I know, so what am I worried about? Okay,
Because on Zoom, people could log in and be making comments in the
Right,
comment area,
but I
so
feel
it's
like
almost
people
the
like,
same.
it's like almost like, cause we do have some followers on the COD page. Cause like you never, like you might just catch somebody that says, oh, COD is live,
yeah,
Mhm.
and then they'll just join instead of,
or I could just put on there, we're live every week, with a link or something like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, let me.
yeah, cause like usually it will show, like say if I went on Facebook and we went live right now, it would show, oh, Kevin Smith is live, and then people could just join in on the live feed.
Are other town meetings doing that right now? Because if they're not, this might set a precedent.
I haven't had, well, for school committee meetings, there's
Somebody else.
Save Our Schools is like a little, Facebook group.
North Attleboro does it. I don't know if it must be the live, because it comes up on the stories.
Mhm.
It's their like council meetings or something,
Yeah,
and sometimes I end up watching it. I don't even live there, but
Right.
because it's
right.
there and it's live, I'm like, well, what the heck?
Well, that's kind of what happens. I think it will kind of like just organically draw people to us.
Well, I'll send an email to Mike and ask him. can we-
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing, is just make sure that, there's not some sort of open meeting
Mhm.
issue or violation with it. But I think as long as we say, oh, Mrs. So-and-so, made the comment.
I think
should
the
be
only
fine.
issue we might run into there though with Facebook Live too, is it could drive traffic from people who are not Dayton residents. And then,
That's fine, they just can't provide public input.
exactly, that's the only way, I agree.
But you can even put a disclaimer up, like when you go live, that, if you'd like to have public input, just please state your name and address.
Yeah.
And we ask that only Dayton residents.
Yes,
Mhm.
let me check with Mike.
Mhm.
I'll do that, but I sent him the same email about Jen as well. And next,
Next is, 4F, continue conversation about ADA budget.
so, I was hoping to have a conversation with the town administrator already about our budget and what we talked about a little bit before we began to talk about. And I was also, and he and I have not been able to connect yet. We were gonna try and do it last week, didn't happen, waiting to hear back from him, so he and I can get together. Also, Jeff Dugan, from MOD wasn't able to be part of today. So, I think what I'd like to do is, because we're not gonna meet until next month, and the budget, if you saw the email that went out today,
Mhm.
is due technically the same day we meet, February 2nd, which happens to be my birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Jonathan. I expect a cake, by the way. Just kidding, I don't like cake. I really don't.
Neither do I.
So, I was gonna ask Mike, first of all, for an extension for a few days to get our budget, our preliminary budget in. But I was also going to, ask the two of you if it would be okay if I potentially asked, the town administrator to have a conversation with myself and, MOD. Because if we meet collectively in the meantime, we have to do it as a public meeting. Unless you think we should have a meeting, or if it looks like we should, I can call it.
I think the biggest hurdle in this, in the budget is more the ADA coordinator stipend and not so much our
Yeah.
commission's budget. So
That's
I
true.
think it makes more sense for you to have a meeting privately
With the TA and.
with the TA and MOD.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, I think, we're kind of, the Commission on Disability is a way to support the ADA coordinator. I don't think as far as any salary or stipend is concerned,
It should be kept
it
separate.
should almost be kept separate anyway.
So if neither of you have an objection, then I'm gonna go ahead and do that, because I agree with you, it should be kept separate.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And,
that's one thing I kind of stewed on, because I know I get all the fire from
Yeah, no.
that, but it's
I
really,
agree.
you know, so let me reach out to the TA
Mhm.
and have a conversation with him, and with MOD as well, and see if I can get the three of us together at least. And then I can get back to you guys and see where it's gonna go. As far as, we don't have a formal budget per se, we just have our expenses, if you will.
Mhm.
I don't see any need to change that right now, but what I would like to add into it is the potential for training, so that the members, besides just me, can get some other training either from the Mass Office of Disability or from MCAD. They have seminars periodically and so forth as well. Some of them are online. I know MCAD has something coming up in late spring, early summer. They haven't set the dates yet, for example. It's a 2-day thing in Boston, and it focuses, it's gonna be live, not Zoom, but it focuses on anti-discrimination rules and regulations for people with disability. And that's not through MOD.
I think so you have some backbone too, when you have, or even, because I think that falls more under, again, under the commission. Because I think if there's some things that you think that we should be doing,
I'm gonna
as a committee,
for 'em.
is research those. I don't think the dates are necessarily important, but the cost incurred,
No, there's
so
no,
that we can say, we'd like, say if it's $1,500, we'd like $1,500 because we wanna do this, this, and this seminar.
and that's really what I'm getting at. I'm
Yeah.
just not getting it the way that I want to. So that I can tell you guys and we can tell the town that, it's $600 a person for 2 days.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us at this point. We'd like a group for up to, whatever number of people. And get that in the budget.
Yeah, I think we just need to be,
Yeah,
especially going into this
this year.
Yeah,
year's
there's zero
budget.
budgeting.
Yeah.
With zero budget, we have to be very specific, we can't just blanket it and say, oh, we'd like to have 2,000 for,
And how it would
Any
benefit
training.
the
And
town,
how it
like,
benefits the town and how it benefits the members
Yep.
as well. I agree. And I think because also, in our case at least, I think because several of us have other involvement with the town, it helps piggyback other things
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
So it's easier to make a case for the, the relationship of why it's important. So I will do that, and I will have that information for our next meeting. And I'll have a preliminary budget just so everybody to look at too. So that we can vote on it, at least as far as it goes for COD. Next.
Next is 4G Healing Community Study.
I did send emails out. I put that on there because you had sent me the material. And I did send an email out, actually twice.
So Nate is now gone, and he was the person that I had given you the email address for, he was the BMC.
Yep.
Something coordinator, I can't think of his exact title. So now they're looking to hire someone for that, in the meanwhile, we have an individual named Karen. I just wrote to email her, I'm gonna email her tomorrow. Our next meeting isn't until the 17th. So I'm gonna ask if she can add you to the Zoom, it's gonna be the Dayton meeting, so each town has their own meeting once a month, and then we have a meeting with all the towns. And then there's some other, there's a lot of meetings, but not all of them are required. But the one with Dayton would probably be the best to get you on right away.
And that's on the 17th of this month.
Yes, and it's a Zoom.
You know what time?
Let me look, I wanna say 11, but let me check.
Oh, it's during the day, okay.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, it's at 11.
That's Tuesday, is that a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday,
Okay.
yep.
Alright.
So I'm gonna email her tomorrow, and even if you can't make it, then you'll be on her radar now that Nate's gone. I don't know how well Nate did, sending over all the information.
Okay, well, that Tuesday I'm gonna be working from home. I already know that now, so I can do it.
Okay,
Because if it was Wednesday, I'll be traveling all day, so.
okay,
All
perfect.
right, cool.
just to recap, this was like a, more or less just a study to how to support individuals with,
Yes,
Abusive, right?
to offer harm reduction within
Okay.
these communities. New business, 5A consumer services update.
So again, I said I was gonna put this on there each month. And I mentioned at the meeting we had the other day with the town departments. In the month of December, I had 2 requests only, and both of them related to different people in town who are hearing impaired. One was a person who was going to a medical appointment and needed interpretive services. And I was able to arrange that for them. It was paid privately through their insurance, because the town can't do that, of course. But I was able to put them in touch with the right folks and make arrangements so that they could have that medical appointment fully interpreted. The other one was a person who was going to a meeting in another town for a family member with a disability, oddly enough, and wanted to be able to have card services so that they could understand everything that was going on, because their sign language is not the greatest, their lip reading is not the greatest, but they wanted the card services, and I was able, again, to make arrangements for that and have the other town pay for that for them to go to that meeting. So those are the two consumer areas that we did in the past month.
I gotta say, I enjoy this edition of this, hearing what you do with the residents, and I'm sure that other people, I think that people don't realize what does the ADA coordinator do, and they don't know all this outreach that you have.
No, that's why I decided to start
I really like that.
doing that.
You don't wanna be the mean guy who tells us what's wrong with all the buildings.
Well, I sort of do,
It's
but
still me.
I only want to do it when I have to, because I do want a few friends around town.
Yeah.
I don't have any, so.
Next is 5B, review and discuss new COD,
Oh,
no,
so
we did that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 5C, ADA case study.
So I sent that to you guys, I don't know if you read it or not.
Was that in the documents that you sent us?
That was a separate email, right after the 3 documents. I sent you another one. And I think I forwarded this, I think it's an ADA.
So I did not, but is it the one Dayton makes strides in website
Yes,
facility?
yes, correct, yes. Yeah, I don't know if we want to read that loud, or, I mean, I know what it says, and I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, I didn't, did I get it though?
Yeah, it was like the third attachment. and
Oh,
was
I didn't make it
being
that far.
lazy myself, so I saw agenda, I clicked on that, I knew the next one was the meeting notice, so I
Yeah.
just.
Would you like Kevin to read it out loud for a minute?
Yeah, it's just not
So-
very long.
It's not- And what, so what this was about was, our web developer publishes now and then, they do different focuses on different things that they do in web development that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they contacted us because our website is working so well so far, and we put so much into it with them. So they wanted to do an article on us. So myself and Mike and Leanne
Oh, I didn't read
met
that.
with them about a week and a half ago, and then they just sent us the draft, which we said, go for it. So now I'll ask Kevin.
Now, who is this from?
What do you call it? Our web developer, Jonathan Ray, please.
Civics Plus?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, so Civics Plus wrote this article?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Civics Plus wrote this article, they're publishing this article in their magazine.
Oh.
Yes.
So the headline is Dayton, Mass. Makes strides in website accessibility compliance with Civics Plus and Audio Eye. In the southeast corner of Massachusetts, you can find Dayton, a small agricultural town built upon farming for hundreds of years, with a population of 8,100 residents. Community is at the heart of Dayton, and we are very proud of how hardworking and connected the area is. Mike Mullen, Town Administrator of Dayton, shares. And a quote from Mike, "Farming and community are what we are all about. Building accessibility. Before Dayton partnered with Civics Plus, they had little to no digital accessibility and compliance. This significantly impacted the residents who are widely involved in civic engagement and town halls. Workflows were almost entirely manual and paper-based. If there were digital aspects like the town website, it was mostly widget-based." And a quote from Jonathan Gale, ADA coordinator, "Even if we tried to be accessible, we simply did not have the means to acquire what was needed to become compliant. We were more like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. Leanne Kerwin, the administrative assistant to the Board of Selectmen, previously worked in Franklin, Mass., where the town successfully utilized the Civics Plus agenda and meeting management software to transform its legislative management process digitally. Kerwin shares that Dayton's compliance process was inconsistent and disorganized. Something needed to be changed. Another quote from Jonathan Gale, ADA coordinator, "In terms of accessibility, before we were almost completely inaccessible, but it was essential to the town that we get there for our residents." Bringing in Civics Plus and Audio Eye. Since Kerwin previously worked with Civics Plus software, She knew how elevated the system was compared to other vendors regarding integration and ADA compliance. The experience was profound. My iPhone is all JAWS job access with speech enabled, so if Michael were to post an agenda or a link to the calendar online, I could find it and I could listen to that agenda. Gail adds, we're still new to this, we're learning, and our residents are learning. Gail then went on to describe how helpful the accessibility settings of Adobe can be for those who are visually impaired. The website is now fully ADA compliant and the residents have found the updates to be deeply helpful. Dayton residents enjoy how compatible the town website is now with their smartphones and how communication is only one click away. The town government also loves how easy it is to get a hold of the Civics Plus technical support team when questions arise. Kerwin added how helpful the team was throughout training on the new software system, continually improving. Dayton leaders know that ADA compliance is ongoing. For his part, Gail shares that he checks to make sure the audio files from government meetings and minutes are high quality. Kerwin is constantly looking to see visually how accessible things are online. Quote from Leanne Kerwin, compliance was non-existent before, so we spend more time checking accessibility. Civics Plus makes it so easy that our entire workflows are more seamless. The benefits of having chosen an integrated solution offered by Civics Plus and AudioEye as an existing partnership rather than working with two separate third parties for website design and accessibility were worth it. Absolutely, there are benefits, Kerwin smiles. Having everything integrated is much simpler, and having one technical support team to go with questions instead of several is ideal. We enjoy having everything in one place. The grant that made it all possible. Mullen, Kerwin, and Gail all shared how none of this would have been possible without a generous grant from the Mass Office on Disability. With the pandemic causing time constraints, Civics Plus was very gracious in working around our tight timelines concerning the grant and training, Kerwin added. The amount given to spend by the grant was almost exactly what we needed to bring on AudioEye and Civics Plus. The grant from MOD was what helped Dayton improve its accessibility and reach residents who need accommodations, like Mullen. Speaking with the administration of Dayton made it clear how ADA technology like that offered by Civics Plus and AudioEye really can improve quality of life. Civics Plus positively impacted the small farming town and made its leaders feel like they were taking another step towards helping governments work better.
That's it.
Thank you for that.
So this goes into their national magazine that they put out. So I think it's really nice that they chose Dayton to do this for this quarter. And to put us a little bit more on the map for things that we're doing. Again, it took a village to make this work and it still does. Leanne noted, and again, the meeting yesterday morning, she noted that she's seen a lot more traffic coming to the town's website since we launched the new one in general. She sees more people looking at different departments, she sees more people doing things online already, and that the traffic seems to be going up exponentially, pretty quickly, which is great.
I love the new website. It's like light years better than the old one. It's like you can find everything. It's even just visually, it's
comfortable.
It's comfortable, it's easy to navigate. I'm more than pleased with what we got compared to what we had. So that's it under new business, but I kind of just want to add in the note, I did send you guys both the Zoom link for, I think it's next Wednesday, the 11th,
Oh, yeah.
for Best Buddies,
I
because
wanted
we
to
are
talk to you about that.
the new rep.
When did you send that?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because you and I were talking,
Yeah.
I think you would,
Oh, wait, this was a while ago, wasn't it?
it was the week
Okay.
between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay, yeah, okay, I thought you meant like in the last couple of days.
No, so I not spoke, but emailed back, and it was actually funny, because Nicole messaged me and was like, hey, yeah, have you heard anything? I was like, no, and like literally that afternoon, I sent an email and Krista emailed me right
Okay, yeah, I do have it, then I do.
So then she gave me a Zoom link for next Wednesday, I think it's at noon time.
Yes, I was just gonna say,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, I have it at 1.
1, okay.
But I know I had said when you booked it, I was like, I'm available whenever, I'll make time. So I just started, like, I'm working with the Rehoboth nurse
Yep.
to do hours for my master's degree. So I am gonna be there at Rehoboth, so I'm hoping that she'll let me take a lunch at that time,
Okay,
and then I can hop on.
All right.
I will definitely let you know if for whatever reason I can't hop on, but I mean, I'm gonna do everything I can. It just happened to be, that's the day I'm starting with her.
Okay.
So I feel bad starting and being like, hey,
Yeah.
can I also, I also have a bunch of other things to ask her if I can do, but I'm gonna definitely try, because I do wanna be there and so I can get the most information.
No, well, no, I'll see if, for whatever reason, if you can't join, I'll ask you if Crystal, cause I think she's the one running the meeting, if she can record it and then just email it to me, so at least.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have that on my calendar already, so, okay, I thought there was a different.
Well, I'd also too, just in case, I can't proceed unless I'm in like the boondocks and I can't get onto Zoom, which very rarely happens. But maybe if we have any specific questions,
Yeah.
if we wanna just compile them.
Oh,
That way,
okay,
like,
yeah.
say if you can't make it, or even you, Jonathan, if something pops up, but if you have specific questions,
Yeah.
that way either of you can't make it, I'll make sure I ask those questions.
All right, so do you want us to send you some questions?
Yeah, if you want to, just in case.
All right, if I don't think I can make it, I'll send you
That way
questions,
I'll-
otherwise I'll definitely be there.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, and I think that's it.
Yep, that's it on the new business.
So then the minutes, thank you for doing them, by the way. I did listen to them last night, thank you for sending both of them out. And I'm going to ask if there's a motion to approve the minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes from our meeting 9/1/2022 and 12/5/2022.
Second that motion?
Any discussion? Wait for the crowd. No discussion. Call for a vote, Nicole?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Jonathan? Aye. Thank you. Thank you for doing it, as always.
I had to dig. Like, I had sworn that I did September's, like, almost immediately after, because I was getting on this trend where I'm like, I'm gonna do my minutes right away. I was like, going through every document on my computer, and I'm like, I guess I didn't do them. So then I had to flip back to the handy dandy notebook.
I just started, by the way, putting all of the material correctly back into the COD Dropbox page and reorganizing it. So I'm hoping in the next week or 10 days, everything will be completely redone, reorganized the way they should be in there. It got away from me for a long time with other things going on. But since my schedule is changing, I'll have a lot more time to do it, and Justina will have more time to do it as well. So,
Now, do you want me to take, is it just easier, once we approve them, do you want me to just drop them in the,
no, I'll do it.
okay,
I can do it. Because I have them in a separate Dropbox folder anyway right now. But the way it works is, like, even that, I can listen to them on my phone,
yep,
and then what I do is I move them into a folder that Justine and I share together
gotcha.
automatically in Dropbox, then I move things from there all over into every kind of folder I need to. So I'll just, like, I'll do it tonight when I get it, and I'll put them in the right thing. But I have others to go back and do. I have a lot of things to do for our folder to clean it up. So I will do that.
Yeah, we have a lot of folders in our folder.
Yeah, I need to get rid of a bunch of it and clean a bunch of stuff up. So yes. Covered.
So our next 3 meetings is February 2nd.
March 2nd. And then April 6th, yes. And other than that, that is it.
We didn't have any public input.
No, I didn't know.
No, I kind of checked periodically.
I know I know if Kevin sees it, he would ask if there's anybody who wants to offer anything. But hearing nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn at 5:25.
I'll second that.
Hearing no discussion, voting on the motion, Kevin?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Jonathan? Aye. Thank you all very much. Within our 1 hour.
We did it.